Entering in,
settling down,
opening up, gathering round,
entering in, settling down,
opening up,
gathering round.
Shalom Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Shalom. We turn to page 140, 141 in our Sidurim, in our prayer books, for Matovu, a prayer that welcomes us into this place of sanctuary, place of prayer. Matovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. Matovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. Please continue silently on 140, 141. Access this compilation of beautiful prayer threads from the Torah woven together. And as for me, drawn by your love, I come into your house. Vani tefilati lecharnai et ratzon, Elohim berov chazdecha, aneni b'emet yish'echa. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to this Shabbat morning service, during which Gibby Kolis will be called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. We say Mazal Tov to Gibby, to his parents, Michael and Jessica, to his brother, Dorian, to other friends who've come, gathered together with us to celebrate this morning, this Jewish rite of passage, this wonderful moment in the life of a young person and his family. We want to warmly welcome friends and family some of whom are here in our sanctuary this morning, and many of whom are with us on various platforms virtually. Everyone here is welcome. We are so delighted to be back in our sanctuary. It's the first time since February of 2020. We're in here for a Shabbat morning service for a B'nai Mitzvah. It feels wonderful. It feels great. As part of becoming a bar mitzvah this morning, Gibby receives his very own talit, a very special gift, a sacred object that helps usher one into prayer, helps prepare one to enter prayer. And so I want to call up Gibby and his mom and dad, and the actual blessing is going to be offered by his grandparents, Coleman and Susan, who are in Rockaway, New Jersey, who are with us this morning. Guys, come on over here. Come on right over here. And then Michael and Jessica will do the actual presentation. So why don't you folks stand over there, and Gibby, you stand over here. Come on over here. And we'll, actually, you know what? We can come watch their blessing over here. Okay? Come to us See the magic of, there it is. No, there, we.
Hi, my beautiful family, and especially hi to Gibby, the bar mitzvah boy. And Gibby, I wish you all the happiness in the world, a long, healthy, happy life. And I know you're going to do a great job because you're always good at speaking aloud. So, happy bar mitzvah to you. And here is your papa who wants to say something.
Gibby, as I virtually give you your talis for the first time, it marks symbolically your transition from just another Jewish boy to now a Jewish man. You'll always remember the first time you wear this talis.
Talis.
It's your coming of age religiously. Then every time thereafter when you wear the talis, you'll be comforted by the knowledge that it gives you strength and position and a place in the Jewish law. I have here my bar mitzvah talis from 1948, the year Israel became a state.
Wow.
You'll always know that you're wrapped in a symbol of communal solidarity with your brethren in the Jewish history. Congratulations, Gibby. Today you become a man, and from now on, we'll be proud of you like never before.
As we
love
always
you,
are.
and good luck.
Love you.
Can we get an amen?
Amen.
All right. So, Gibby, this beautiful talit, and take hold of it. Blessing is on the collar, the atara of your talit, and I want you to remember the blessing you received from your grandparents, and this blessing right here. Just scan this in right to your hard drive. Yeah, lovely. And your blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzi.
Amen. Mazel tov, mazel tov. And on this day, when Gibby receives his own talit, on this day of his bar mitzvah, he also received many blessings this morning. And one of the blessings that we traditionally offer at this moment in our community, when the bar mitzvah has a sibling, is the sibling blessing. Today, Dorian will give the big brother a blessing. Come on up, Dorian. Step in a little. I got this.
Gibby, I'm so proud of you for becoming a bar mitzvah. As you know, it's been a really hard year, and the path of least resistance could have been to give up. But instead, you kept your commitment to yourself, and here we are. So my blessing for you is that you always recognize what's important and what's important for you, and that you do whatever it takes to accomplish it. I love you.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dorian. See. Thank you. Today we're joined by Eve Decker, our soulful song leader, and Zoe Francesca, also a member of part of our Chazanut, our cantorial group. We're grateful to have them help lead this morning, as well as Maura Ellen, our B'nai Mitzvah teacher, and will be helping and supporting throughout the day. Right now, we move from the morning blessings to the verses of wonder. In our tradition, verses of wonder often come to us from the Psalms, the book of Psalms. And one of the through lines through many of the Psalms are the words hallelujah and hallelujah. Hallelujah is we open to wonder. We open to wonder. The hallelujah. Yah is one of the many names for God. And when we truly experience wonder, that is a God experience. And we say, Kol hanshama tehalel Yah. Hallelujah. With every breath, from a place of the soul, we embrace wonder. Please join with us in this song of joys.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
We invite Gibby to come up with Dorian. And on our additional page, number 8, Gibby and Dorian will lead us in a prayer. Baruch Hu, dear one. Baruch Hu, we bless. Shekhinah, one of the many names for God. You know, on our ark here, we have the mystical sfirot. Imagine the energies of the divine. It begin with Keter. That's the unknowable, the God that is beyond our ability to comprehend as finite beings. And we have these different divine energies. We have chesed and gvura. We have loving kindness and strength. And we have love and compassion. All of these different elements. And down right here is malchut, majesty, or shekhinah. Shekhinah is the way we can encounter God in our everyday lives. This is the Shekhinah that we acknowledge at this moment with this prayer, the ability to enter into sacred moments every day, at any moment, if we are available, if we show up and are present. This is a prayer for presence. Please respond. Gibby and Dorian will lead, and we all will respond. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name, when I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, We turn to page 247 in our prayer books. Come step right up. For this prayer of acknowledging our ability to offer and receive blessing, we invite you to rise, so you're offering this from a position of strength if you are able. Our tradition is to stretch, to bend on Borchu, on the first and beginning of the second lines of this prayer, in which we acknowledge the mystery at the heart of reality as the source of all blessing. And so that when we open our hearts and offer blessing, step right in there, we are connecting to something bigger than ourselves. So please join with us. Ready? Hi, la, 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 la. Hi, la, 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 la. Hi, la, 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 la. Hi, la, 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 la. Hi, la, 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 la. Yotzer or uvorei choshech, ose shalom uvorei et hakol. Blessed are you, God, breath of all life, who creates all light to shine through in times of darkness, and creates darkness to help us appreciate the light. Blessed are you, Creator of all. Amen. You can have a seat right back here. You have your seat. Take that seat. Please have a seat. We ready ourselves for Shema Yisrael, central affirmation of our people. With this prayer, open up our eyes. Please, even if you don't know the words, just sing with us this reminder, deep reminder to live with as much presence as we can muster.
Open up our eyes. Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Open up our eyes. Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. We will know that we are one.
this moment, we invite Gibby to stand in front of the ark. We invite members of his B'nai Mitzvah class to come join him on the bima. Come on up. We turn to page 277 for the Shema and V'ahavta. This is the first time this class has been together on the bima, as we said, for more than about a year and a half. So, I'm gonna just invite you one of those. Yes. So, how's it feel? Two thumbs up from Ben, and we got, yeah, great, wonderful. So, we invite you to remove your masks for the part time of leading, if you're comfortable. If you're not, that's fine. Shema Yisrael. Pay attention. It is our central spiritual practice. Pay attention. Live your life as fully aware as you can. Not just to what people are saying, but to what you hear behind the words, what you feel in your heart when you encounter others. Know that beyond all of our differences, all of our subjective tastes, all of our idiosyncrasies, we are all deeply connected. That's what Adonai Echad, God is one, we are one, means. It's something we have to remind ourselves of all the time. And when we take this in, truly, in our hearts, and all we can do is say, V'ahavta. All we can be is loving. So we invite Gibby and members of his class who are able to be here this morning to lead us as they will be leading soon enough. We're putting our hands in this generation to guide us through what will surely be challenging times ahead. And we believe that if they can remember their connectedness and stand together, that this world is in good hands. So, Gibby, check in with your classmates, slide in together, raise your voices, lead us in this deep prayer of connection, Shema and V'ahavta. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Va'ed, V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinyatam levanecha v'libavta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'leftecha b'derech u'shoktecha u'vkumecha u'shartam me'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot
mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha.
Small gathering. Can hear their voices? Join, support them like you have been supported. Great. All right, I see. We turn to page 291. Feet right against the wood. Raise your voice. Page 291. Mi chamocha, third line from the top. Who is like you, Adonai? We sing this song of our ability to uncover, to connect with our inner resources, the things that help us through the most challenging moments of our lives. Please, everyone who's able, please rise. We've all been through challenging moments. This whole world has been through a year and a half of challenging moments. We sing out, we move through as we acknowledge God as the source of all support and wonder. Ready? שיבחו גאולים לשמך שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, עובדי חינומך, יהודה וישראל, גואלנו, אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני, גואל ישראל. Amen. Continue standing as we enter into the Amidah, the standing silent prayer, which begins on pages 294 and 5 and continues through page 323. We move into this time of silence with the words at the top of 295. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tilatecha. Dear God, open up my lips, open me up to myself. Let me tune in right now to the deepest yearnings of my heart.
Adonai, Ananana Svatai Tifta, Ananana Ufiagi Teilatecha, Ananana Adonai.
Ananananana svatai tifta. Ananananana ufi agi. Ufi agi tehilatecha. Invite Gibby to come back up. On our tefillah page number 16, we offer a prayer for shalom, prayer for wholeness and peace, something our world is in desperate need of at this moment. Oseh shalom bimroma, right in the center, right up against the wood. You're leading.
Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ve'imru, amen. We turn to page 383. We ready ourselves to move into the Torah service, climax of Shacharit, the morning prayer. We have a few introductory prayers meant to call us to awareness that encountering Torah, encountering the sacred story of the Jewish people, is an invitation to connect to one of the great spiritual gifts of our tradition. Gibby leads us in Ein Kamocha, top of 383. Sing it out.
Ein kamoha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kama'aseha, malhutecha malhut, kol olamim, u'memshoteha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimlo, le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz, le'amo yitei, Adonai yivarech, et amo v'shalom. Harachamim, Hetiva v'rtzon ha'etzion, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Ki lecha levad batachnu, Melech Elam v'nisa, Adon Ulamim.
We invite up his parents, Michael and Jessica. Bring your books with you. Take that over there, okay? Stand right here. Jessica first. Michael. We turn to page 385. By he being Aaron, we ask Mora Ellen to please honor us by opening the Aron HaKodesh, the Ark. As the Ark is open, please rise in honor of the Torah. Haven't said that in a long time. Yes. Thank you, Mora Ellen. Vayehi bin Saron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, Ve'afutzu oivecha, Ve'anusu misanecha, mipanecha, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato. You can put your books down in the chair. You're going to need your hands, Michael. Shut down. Now time to remove the Sefer Torah from the Ark. And it's our tradition here at the Chaim to pass the Torah L'dor v'dor, from generation to generation, as a way of reminding Gibby and all of us how the most essential teachings come into our lives through the people that love us and care about us. So please listen to this beautiful prayer that Eve offers as we pass the Torah, transmit Torah.
Hashivenu Ya'elecha erashuvot Haresh Yameinu Kedem renew our faith in life, release
So Gibby, you know that this Torah scroll has a very special history. You know that it was originally part of a congregation in the Carpathian Mountains in Czechoslovakia. We know that the Nazis overran Czechoslovakia in 1939 when near the outbreak of the Second World War. In 1940, they closed down all Jewish congregations, but the Jewish Community Administration was used locally by the Germans to execute their stream of decrees and instructions to the Jewish community. Deportations started in 1941, and mass deportations of the Jews to concentration camps took place during 42 and 43. Fearful that the deserted synagogues and community buildings would be at the mercy of looters and plunderers, a group of Jews at the Jewish Museum in Prague submitted a plan to the Nazis to save the Jewish ritual and cultural treasures in these vulnerable buildings by bringing them to Prague so they could be cataloged and preserved. Why their Nazi overseers agreed to this plan is not known. But the result was that Nazi-controlled Prague, the Jewish community in Prague, sent out orders that implemented the plan and permitted transport companies to carry Jewish goods. With few exceptions, the Torah scrolls, other liturgical treasures in gold and silver, ritual textiles were sent to Prague along with historic archives and thousands of prayer books and Torah texts. There was a huge treasure of Jewish sacred objects that had come from all over Czechoslovakia. They required over 40 warehouses, including deserted synagogues in Prague and elsewhere, to store all of these sacred objects. Remarkably, these treasures survived the war, even as the Jewish community did not. In the 1970s, these sacred objects were ransomed from the Czech government through an art dealer in London, and 1,564 Torah scrolls were brought to England, where they were painstakingly repaired. The Czech Memorial Trust was founded, and these Torahs were sent out to Jewish communities around the world that were in need of a Torah scroll. And they were given on permanent loan. Our congregation, which was founded in 1978, was one of the grateful recipients of these Torah scrolls. So Gibby, today you have the honor of singing out the story from this scroll, of holding it, of carrying it, and you affirm that what's at the center of the spirit of the Jewish people in doing that. You've earned the right to hold this Torah because you've studied her teachings, and you've learned how to chant her story. You've spent an enormous amount of time, invested a lot of effort in learning these sacred skills. As you move forward in your life, you're now being challenged to maintain a connection to our beautiful tradition, to help you develop further and grow as a human being. Right now, holding the Torah in your arms, we invite you to sing out once again the Shema Yisrael at the top of page 393. We will sing back to you.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Turn towards the ark. Gadol Adonai iti, u'neramama Shemo yachdav. Back to have a seat. Sit here, baby. We now ask you to place down your sidurim on the chair next to you, if you will, or underneath the seat in front of you, and take out your humashim, the purple Torah text that we'll be using today to encounter Torah. Today, traditionally, the synagogues around the world are encountering the Torah portion Chukat from the book of Sefer Bamidbar, from the book of Numbers. But we, in this crazy year, last year and a half of COVID, we have honored the work that our students have done and made an exception and let them chant from the Torah portions they learn, not have to compel them to start over and learn new Torah portions. So today we're going back a little bit to Parshat Naso. This is a very interesting Torah portion in that a good deal of the Torah portion contains teachings that our people have no longer practiced and haven't practiced for 2 millennia. One of the sections is about laws and spiritual directives related to the suspected adulteress, which thankfully our people let go of. The other is about the tradition about the Nazir, the Nazirite, an ascetic tradition that was once a very important part of our people's spiritual practice. And again, when Judaism and Christianity individuated, when Christianity sort of went its own way, there was a kind of division of property. And Christianity claimed the ascetic tradition that's exemplified by Nazir. So Judaism said, okay, we'll let go of that. You can take that. Interestingly enough, the threefold blessing, which is the shining star of this Torah portion, was so powerful that both traditions held on to it. And it is a part of both traditions to this very day. The threefold blessing of peace, the priestly blessing. I had the privilege of studying this Torah portion with Gibby for 45 minutes a week, on and off, over the last year and a half, almost 2 years. And the question Gibby held, as all of our students hold, is what might this mean to him in his own life? And after Gibby chants from the Torah, you will hear his own Dvar Torah, his own teaching that came out of our study together his own reflection and insights as to what this encounter with sacred story has meant to him. And it's an exceptional teaching, I must say. The reading today is broken up into 4 sections, and before each section, different people will be honored by being called to the Torah to offer and receive blessings. Before we encounter Torah, we always acknowledge teachers. Torah means instruction, spiritual instruction, which can't happen without caring teachers. And we honor all of the teachers in Gibby's life, especially the teachers who were committed to downloading this spiritual tradition. And we are blessed today to have Maura Ellen Severson, who was Gibby's teacher last year during the B'nai Mitzvah class, and with extraordinary commitment stayed in contact with most of our students this year. I would say all of our students this year, and has helped Gibby relearn, because he learned it and then had this long hiatus. He had to come back and reconnect with how to chant from the Torah, which is not an easy thing to learn. The Torah has no punctuation, and there's no markings in the Torah. There's no beginnings of chapters, end of you have to know what you're doing when you wade into the Torah, or you will not be able to navigate. And so we had to learn this and learn how to sing out. There's a special way to sing out the story of our people, and Maura Ellen instructed Gibby in how to do this, and we're grateful for the commitment and the perseverance and the connection. So thank you, Maura Ellen. In addition to Gibby, his brother Dorian will also chant from the Torah this morning. And Dorian, why don't you come up? Torah portion begins on page 688. 688. You see it's Parshat Naso. Find ourselves in the middle of Naso. We're going to start, Dorian's going to start chanting from verse 13. And we're already, if you turn back one page, you'll see on 687 it says the Nazarite, the little italics in the middle of the page, right above chapter 6. This is about the tradition that that we know of through a couple of very key figures in our tradition, one of whom is the prophet Samuel, who was designated by his parents to be a Nazir, a Nazarite, dedicated to a spiritual path. You'll hear more about this from Gibby, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. Also, perhaps the most famous Nazarite in our tradition is Samson. And you'll hear, as I said, you'll hear more about that from Gibby. So, verse 13, we find ourselves in the middle of this tract on what the Nazarite, what it means to be a Nazir, a Nazarite, what the Nazarite has to do, the ascetic tradition, not drink wine or any alcoholic beverages, not cut their hair, and you'll hear more about that. So let's prepare the Torah. Watch the microphone. Thank you, Ellen. There we go. Where's the Torah Nazir? Right there. Okay. Come right here. Where's the Torah Nazir? Nazir. Just lay the yad down right there. Okay. So for the first Aliyah, we call up Uncle Rick and Vanessa from Randolph, New Jersey on video.
Asher et Adonai Himavarav.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam
Baruch
Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Right here. That's fine. Right there. This gives an amen.
Amen. Vezot Torah Hanazir Bayom Melot Yamei Nizro Yahweh Oto El Petach Ohel Moed Vehikriv et Karbano Ladonai Keves Ben Shanato Tamim Echad Le'ala V'Havsa Achat Bat Shanato Tamima Lechatat Va'ayil Echad Tamim Lishlamim Vesal Matzot Solet Chalot Belulot Bashemen Urkike Matzot Meshuchim Bashemen Umin
Chatam v'niskem. Well done. Shkoach. Good job. So, Uncle Rick and Vanessa continue with their blessing. We'll touch the Torah for them. And their
Baruch
blessing.
Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Natav B'tochenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Mazel tov, Gibby.
See? Good job. Gibby. Come on up. The second Aliyah, we continue with verse 16. It's a couple of paragraphs up from the bottom on 689, 688. This is about the offerings that the Nazir brings when the term of commitment is concluded. There's a process of becoming a Nazirite and then leaving this spiritual path. So, for the second Aliyah, we call up Aunt Amy from also Booton, New Jersey. We're going to touch the Torah for her and hear her from New Jersey.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Gibby. Kriva Kohen. Get a little help here. Give us an amen. Okay, you ready?
Amen. V'hikriv hakohen lifnei Adonai v'asa et hatato ve'et olato ve'et ha'ayil yasa zevat shalamin l'Adonai also hamatzot v'asa hakohen aminato ve'et nizko ve'gilach hanazir v'tach ohel moed et rosh nizro V'lakach et sa'ar rosh nizro v'natan al ha'esh Asher Tahad Zeva
Hashlamim.
Hashlamim.
Well done, well done. Thank you. And now we touch the Torah and invite Amy to continue from New Jersey.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you, Aunt Amy. For the third Aliyah, we continue on 688, 689, verse 19, 2 lines from the bottom. After the Nazarite shaves, looks like we have a lot of Nazarites in the congregation this morning. After they've been given a haircut, a proper haircut. I think it's a good look, by the way, but just saying. Then they take the ram and the unleavened loaf and the matzah, and they have a good meal. It's a nice thing. So, for the third Aliyah, we call up the proud parents, Michael and Jessica and Dorian, Yamdu, Moshe ben Kalman v'Shoshana, Kayla, Bat Devor of Israel, V'Dov ben Moshe v'Kayla, Shlishi. You guys, come. Okay, come. Touch the Torah right there. Come, be close to the Torah here, and your blessing, and we just want to acknowledge that you are great. Blessing is the greatest blessing. Today we honor you have birthed and raised and guided this child into manhood through a difficult time. And the Koils cover us now. And this is an affirmation. Please. Baruch Adonai Ambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Come back. Give us an amen. Again, verse 19.
Amen. Ve'lakach hakohen ad hazroa b'shelah min ha'ayil v'halat matzah ahat min hasol v'rikik matzah ahat v'natan okapei hanazir ahar v'kohoat nizro v'henif otam hakohen tenufa lifnei Adonai kodesh hu lakohen all hazeh hanufa v'al sokat truma v'ahar yishteh hanazir yayin zot torat hanazir asher yidor karbanel Adonai al nizro milvad asher tasi yado kafi nidro asher yidor kein yaseh all Torah
Israel. Well done. Good job. Come touch the Torah. Your blessing continues.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Stay up here and sit down. Give you have a seat. Take a seat down on the ground floor. Gibby, we first started studying this, Gibby said, why are we spending time studying these traditions that our people abandoned 2 millennia ago? What's up with that? And we do this to remind ourselves that the Torah is a living document. And it is up to all of us to keep it alive. We have the power to say, this is no longer relevant. We don't need this anymore to keep us tuned in to God and our most authentic selves. And so it's a powerful teaching. This is still the root stock of our people. You know, there are teachings here about slavery, because slavery was a very accepted institution in the ancient world. Thank God we abandoned it not that long ago, and it's still practiced in some parts of the world. But it reminds us of our responsibility to encounter Torah seriously, and when needed, update it, bring it into the relevance of this moment. And you'll hear when Gibby offers his Devar that, you know, I didn't expect that Nazarite tradition would be a focus, but it turned out to be, and you'll see why. And it was beautiful. It's a beautiful connection that Gibby made here. So, we're now ready to call Gibby to the Tovah to officially become a bar mitzvah. And so we say, Yamod, habar mi bachur habar mitzvah, Gabriel ben Moshe v'Kela Maftir. We call up the bar mitzvah, Gibby Kolis. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. All right. So Gibby, you have the honor for your bar mitzvah aliyah to sing out the threefold blessing, which is a blessing that is more than 3,500 years old. And it's been a powerful blessing for our people for more than 3 millennia. And in some households, children receive this every Friday night, but amongst all our people, we receive this blessing at pivotal moments when our identities are shifting. And so you received it at your brit, in your baby naming. You receive it today at your bar mitzvah, and God willing, you will receive it under the chuppah at your wedding. When your identity is going through important shifts and evolution. So, are you ready? Okay. Right here, beginning of the threefold blessing. We're now on page 690, 691. We are at verse 22. And come touch the Torah with your talit. I'm going to leave that there. Touch the Torah. Yeah. See? Okay. Hold on to this. Remember the last line. Okay. You ready?
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Barhabanu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Okay. Here you go. I have that there. Right there. You see it?
Vaydaber Adonai, Moshe Lemor, Daber Elaharon, Ve'obanav Lemor, Koteverhu et Bnei Yisrael, Amor Lahem, Yivarecha Adonai, V'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai, Panav, Elecha V'hunecha, Yisa Adonai, Panav, Elecha, V'yasem Lacha Shalom, V'semu et Shemi al Bnei Yisrael, Ve'ani Avad.
Shekoach, well done, wonderfully chanted. Come touch the Torah of our Chaim. There. Your blessing continues. Please hold the Atzei Chaim. Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayei olam latah b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Mishaberach, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Gibby, Kolis, Gabriel, Ben, Moshe, Kayla, who has come up for an aliyah upon reaching the age of mitzvot. May the Infinite One guard you and protect you, guide you to a life of giving and sharing. May you always remember who you are and where you came from, and that you are loved. With the Torah out, we offer our prayer for healing. Misha Berak, the El Rafan Allah is number 5 on our tefillah page. Forward. We invite you to pause for a moment and consider, hold in your hearts those in our lives who are in need of this prayer for healing. And we include in this Grandmother Susan, Great Uncle David, and Great Aunt Fran. And please, if the people we're praying for are not here today, please let them know the next time you speak to them that they were in our prayers this morning. Please join with us.
El Narafan Allah, Refuah Shleima. El Narafan Allah, please heal his soul. Mishe Berach, Abraham v'Sarah, Yitzchak v'Rivka, Yaakov, Rachel v'Leah, El Narafan Allah, Refuah Shleima, El Narafan Allah, please heal this soul. With faith and love, together we bring hope and healing to those in need. Without judgment, without explanation, we are all God's creation. El Narafan Allah, Refuah Shleima, El Narafan Allah, please heal this soul.
Okay. Now it's time to hear Gibby's Devar Torah. Please listen carefully. Okay, just flip the pages. Okay, is that you good or you want to take it out? Zubi. I love this far. So slowly with me. Knock it out of the park. Center yourself up. Get close to the mic.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is found in the book of Numbers, Parsha Naso. It teaches us about the Nazirite, the tent of meeting, and the priestly blessing. The Nazirite takes a sacred vow and does not drink wine or anything made from grapes. They cannot cut their hair until after their vow is over, and they must not come in contact with someone who is sick and dying or a dead body. They are, in a sense, quarantined. I can relate to this because of the quarantine that we've had to endure for the last year or so. Quarantines can be physical, like staying away from others who are sick, or they can be spiritual, like finding ways to keep your mind busy while trying to stay safe. My quarantine has been a little bit of both, and video games have been a huge part of that for me. Video games are something that you either love or you hate, or you don't really care. Yeah, I guess it's not actually one of those things. But for me, I love them, and I play them every day. Video games are an escape from reality. They let me get away from all the stress in the world. Even though they are a very positive part of my life, they do bring some conflicts as well. Sometimes I get too caught up in the game that I'm playing that I forget what's really important. Sometimes I punch the table or scream. At times like these, I feel like I'm not even myself. That stress I was talking about escaping, that's no ordinary stress. You see, I suffer from anxiety. A few years ago, I started noticing that I get mad more easily and more often. Before then, I was happy all the time. Since then, my life has become more miserable and more difficult to handle. This is a huge part of my life, and it keeps me from doing lots of things, like going on planes, getting flu shots, going to the doctor, or even just walking my dog. And all of that leads back to video games. Video games sometimes help my anxiety, but my anxiety can create problems with them as well. If I'm ever feeling anxious about something, I can go to video games to get my mind off of a bad thought. They help me calm down and not be so stressed. However, if I get mad playing video games, they clearly won't help calm me down. Instead, they would make me more stressed, more anxious, and would create more problems that I didn't need to deal with. Right now, during the pandemic, I have more free time overall. So, right now, I tend to play more video games than usual, which means I get more mad, my anxiety is more present, and there are more problems. There are many ways to help combat this, however. Trying to catch myself before things get out of hand is something I'm working on. Taking a time out and breathing is also helpful in diffusing bad situations. But how does all of this relate to my Torah portion? A Nazirite chooses to not drink wine or eat anything that comes from grapes, and to stay away from the sick or dying. They also must not cut their hair. Becoming a Nazirite is also a choice that is temporary and voluntary. The most famous Nazirite in the Torah is Samson, who was born a Nazirite without him choosing to become one. Samson must not cut his hair because his power and strength come from it. During the pandemic, I have had to face many struggles and restrictions, just like a Nazirite. I have not taken an oath to God, but I have taken an oath to myself, my family, my classmates during the year. I have had to make sure to not come in contact with and restrict myself from those who might be sick. I also wear a mask whenever I go out to protect myself from others, and protect myself and others. I also haven't cut my hair because I have stayed away from salons from fear of getting sick. My hair might also give me powers like Samson, but that might be a bit of a stretch. In the beginning of the pandemic, being at home didn't seem that bad, but as time went on, the restrictive lifestyle, like the restrictive life of a Nazirite, separated me from the real world. The separation made my anxiety worse, and I played more video games to try to escape the stress. But like I said, that doesn't always work. But now that things are getting back to normal, and But now that things are getting better and more normal, it might be time to end my term, much like a Nazarite ends theirs. Maybe I will try new hobbies and play fewer video games. And who knows, I might even cut my hair. But I can't say for sure. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Simon Tov.
Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simon Tov. Simon Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simon Tov. Simon Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simon Tov.
Now time for Maura Ellen to present you with some gifts, special gifts from our Beth Chaim Brotherhood and Sisterhood and from your class. I'll hold that.
You want to hold this?
Okay, whatever you want to hold that.
Pre-opened.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Step up a little bit.
Gibby, I'm pleased to present you with gifts from the Brotherhood and the Sisterhood. And usually Rabbi Dan opens this for me first, so there. Shabbat candlesticks.
Show everyone here.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And this is a new design.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. And you can probably figure out what goes with it. The Kiddush cup for you to have blessed Shabbats with Shabbaton and use your candlesticks in your Kiddush cup.
Ah. Yes.
Okay, I think we'll go back to Rabbi Dan opening and pre-opening them. Okay, this is from your class. This is your Tal's cookie kit, and you'll notice it's pre-opened, which I opened it. It wasn't touched by human hands. It was a little thing in there. And this is for you. Enjoy it, have fun, and celebrate that you are done with your bar mitzvah. Good for you.
Thank you.
Amen. All right, let's take all this bling, move it over here. It's good stuff. Lovely. So, come over here, Gib. What a journey this has been. As I said, we started working together in March of 2020. And for your original bar mitzvah date, which I think was June 6th, is that right? Yeah. We restarted in early 2021. And at that moment, you were understandably discouraged. Good, acceptable term? Yes. Since the threefold blessings in your Torah portion, we started talking about blessings, but you were not in any mood to talk about blessings. We kept searching for something for you to connect with, and we weren't having much luck. And your mom told me about a paper you were working on for school about your struggle with video games. You sent me the paper, kind enough to do so, and I was really impressed with your honesty, your courage, and your discussing this love-hate relationship. So we began talking about, how might we work with this, and how might it connect with your Torah portion? And frankly, we weren't getting anywhere. We kind of dead-ended 3 or 4 times. And then I believe it was in a discussion between you and your mom that you realized the connection with Nazir, with the Nazarite. And that was the opening you needed, and you developed your beautiful teaching around the Nazarite. I was so moved by your Dvar, and I have submitted it for to a contemporary Jewish website for publication, because I think there are a lot of young people who struggle with video games and have this experience, this double-edged sword, but haven't thought through what's going on as you have. So I believe it will help other young people as well. Gibby, you're blessed with a wonderful mind and a fine sensibility. The only thing standing in your way is you. You've proven to yourself and to all of us that when you find a way to get out of your own way, amazing things can happen. I'm so moved by your ability to reflect on your challenges and the way you remember this achievement, this way that you've navigated through this incredibly difficult year. We've all had this. It's a global pandemic, but not everyone had their bar mitzvah year during this pandemic. And the way you've articulated your journey is quite stunning. I hope you're able to allow yourself to learn to get out of your way and to connect to who you really are. And the sky's the limit, Gibby. Sky is the limit. Okay? You come from a family of very passionate people. Your father cares deeply about the Jewish people and has been a leader in our community in helping us respond to the challenge of anti-Semitism, which is greater at this moment than in any moment of recent time. Your mom is a very talented artist, and we're so blessed by the stained glass windows. All the stained glass windows are her design, her creation, and have really beautified this sanctuary immeasurably. So it's clear to see that passion within you too, Gibby. And I suspect you're going to surprise a lot of people with your gifts in the years to come. So, I mentioned that the threefold blessing is found in your Torah portion, and now you have the privilege of receiving it today on this day of your bar mitzvah, and everyone here is invited to participate in this blessing with the words, Ken yehi ratzon, so may it be, after each blessing. You ready? Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha
Ken yehi ratzon
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka
Ken yehi ratzon
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Ken yehi ratzon,
Which means, may the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide with you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. Now it's time to invite your mom and dad to come up, offer you their blessings. Come this way on this day of your bar mitzvah. up. As for you, get a little closer, pretend you have a connection.
Gabby, I am so proud of you for standing here today and finishing what you started. I know this was neither easy nor how we envisioned your bar mitzvah day to go, but your strong will and your tenacity pulled you through. I sometimes tell you stories about me and things I did when I was a kid or felt when I was young, thinking that you will understand that somehow we are more alike than you think we are. You usually end up saying something like, "But Mom, that was you. That's not me, I'm not you." You're right, you are not me. You're your own unique person, and I love that about you. You're smart, witty, and creative. You're awesome at playing video games, and card games, and board games, improv games. May you use your many talents, gifts, and superpowers for good. May you be a blessing to others. You are a sensitive soul with a great sense of humor and have so much to give. Know that you are enough to make this world a little bit better. May you find your voice. You have a beautiful voice. Use it to sing out loud and speak up for yourself and for others. May you always stay honest and true to yourself. And don't be afraid to reach out to those who can help you when you need help, or a shoulder to lean on, or someone to listen. May you learn to harness that uncomfortable place in your heart and your head when you feel those fears creep in and life gets really hard. And may you know that you are so much stronger than you give yourself credit for. You are blessed with family and friends who love you, and may you always know that you will never be alone in your journey in life. I will always be with you to encourage you, push you, and love you, no matter what. I love you.
Amen.
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 Dusty in here. Luckily, Gib, between Dorian and Rabbi Dan and Mom, they've already covered most of the stuff, so I've got my 17 pages down to about 2.5. I want to talk about perseverance, and Dorian already covered this, but as did Mom. But your becoming a B'nai Mitzvah also is a marker for all of us that portends a brighter future. So I bless you to have that gift of perseverance because it will serve you well. A couple weeks ago, we all celebrated your 8th grade promotion. They called it a promotion, I think, right? Not a graduation. And that's a little like this, right? This is similar. It's not a conclusion to your Jewish learning and Jewish life, but it's a beginning, right? It's a commencement, a welcoming to a higher level of belonging to the Jewish people. As Mom said, we'll always be here, but the Jewish community will always be here too. In a nod to Juneteenth, today is Juneteenth, right? Martin Luther King, in his famous 1963 I Have a Dream speech, said, "We cannot walk alone." So, and you don't have to, right? As Mom said, and as part of this community, I bless you to continue to place great importance on being part of the Jewish community and never having to walk alone. Perspective. That takes care of a whole page, all the talk we've done about the threefold blessing. But the Torah you read from, too. I never get tired of hearing Rabbi Dan talk about the history of our Torah. And if you think about the hundreds or maybe thousands of people who have chanted from that Torah before you and how you're connected to that community over all those years, including other 13-year-olds like you a long time ago who chanted from that Torah on their B'nai Mitzvot just like you do. And think about how that was cut off in 1939 and forward, and all those generations of Jews who were passed over, who didn't get to chant from the Torah, and you're connected to all those people too. We've talked a lot about the threefold blessing, and as we know, and as Rabbi Dan said, Jews for thousands of years and Christians have been using and reciting the threefold priestly blessing. And just as proof, I read an article just a few weeks ago, an essay by Rabbi David Wolpe of Sinai Temple in Los Angeles. And the essay is titled, "The Jewish History of Israel is over 3,000 years old. That's why it's complicated." And he tells this story about an archaeological dig near the old city of Jerusalem in 1979. I promise this story is going to quicken up. And in that dig in 1979, archaeologists found 2 rolled up silver amulets, and they determined that those amulets came from before the destruction of the first temple in 586 BC. Translation, more than 2,600 years ago. And when they unrolled the amulets, here's the text they found inside. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God turn his face toward you and grant you peace. There it is, right? So people literally have been chanting and reciting the threefold blessing for thousands of years. So the point is, again, just about the connection that you share with the Jewish people. And I invite you to think about all the generations of Jews who have struggled and sacrificed for the next generation and for you. My last quote is a quote by my favorite hip-hop artist who you may not have heard of, but if you haven't, his name is West Side Gravy. And West Side Gravy, in his song that I love called Diaspora, said, "We wouldn't have a future if we didn't have a past." And I think Mr. Gravy's point is that we need to be aware of our past to have perspective on our future and to ensure that we have one. So my blessing for you is to be aware of your past, the Jewish people's past, your people's past, not just for the sake of it, but in having perspective about our people and our role in the world as you pursue your limitless future. Love you.
Amen.
Amen.
Even in moments of great celebration like this, we pause to remember loved ones who have died, and through the power of memory, invite them into this circle of celebration. The Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, is on page 451. We invite anyone who is in the first year of mourning the loss of a close loved one to rise to honor their memory. Anyone who is observing a Yortzeit this week to rise and honor their memories. We include in this Kaddish grandmother Deborah, great-grandmother Gazella, and great-uncle Millard. You can rise to honor their memories. And anyone else who feels the need to say the Kaddish this morning is invited to rise. So we offer this together. We say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing in our lives. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Bi'alma divrachi rutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach leolam uliolmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shemei dekudisha.
Brichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru.
Amen.
Zecher, zecher, zecher. Tzadikim livracha, livracha. May their memories bless our days, bless our days. Thank you. You can have a seat. We invite Gibby to come up with his classmates. Come on up, gather around, bring your sidurim if you will. Tefillah page, Gibby right here, right here. On page 465, find the Kiddush, the Borei Pri Hagafen at the bottom of the page. Come on, close. Gather in. Everybody, come on. Ready? And. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Pri Hagafen. Amen. Okay. We'll take that as a positive review. And hold that. Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Everyone's invited. We have some individually boxed lunches for our own egg. We thank the Kolises for this. And we close with prayer of hope, prayer of peace. On your feet, please. Number 10. Od yavo shalom aleinu.
Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kolam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kolam. Salam, salam. Oravo shalom aleinu. Oravo shalom aleinu. Oravo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Thank you, Eve. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Ellen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Good job.